considered foreign and strange in an era of racism. In fact, in the 1910s, Byzantine chant existed inside the ecclesiastic services, and in some cases led by people who had a good grasp of the Byzantine musical traditions. In 2018, at a notable conference, Maria Kapkiris summarized her incisive and novel research. This has informed the first half of my presentation on the early evolution of Byzantine chant in North America. Much of this derives from reports inside Greek American newspapers, especially Atlantis. On this slide, I present the cities and towns where there are reports of ecclesiastic chant activity in the Byzantine Greek Orthodox tradition as early as the 1910s. Atlantis reports that by the 1920s, Greek school students were mobilized by their teacher into ensembles that learned ecclesiastic as well as folk music, which they sang in church on major ecclesiastic feast days and days of national celebration. By the 1930s, Byzantine music, at least the oral tradition, was systematically taught in the Greek schools of many communities in America. Many communities demanded that immigrating Greek teachers should have a good grasp of, if not traditional musical knowledge of the Byzantine chant tradition by formation, at least a good ear training, as ecclesiastic music was considered a conditio sine qua non for the cultural formation of the youth of Greek America. Between 1911 to 1922, Atlantis reports a number of activities, ecclesiastical services, association building, as well as the names of cantors across 6 U.S. states. We find them as cantors and teachers concentrated in Massachusetts, New York City, Pennsylvania, Ohio, as well as Augusta, Georgia. Between 1923 to 1933, Atlantis reports on the newly formed Music Association of New York, aiming to also train in Byzantine chant. We note the formation of an association of cantors of New England with its base in Boston. And in 1933, we know how the cantors of the Church of St. Constantine and Helen in New York chanted the Anixandaria Foukaeas, the Kekragaria of Iakovos Nafpliotis, the bichoral Theotokia Parthena Bereketis, and the Thearchio Nevmati Doxastikon. Kapkidis' research, unfortunately, ends in 1935. Thus, there is a large gap in reporting for the period 1936 to the mid-1960s, when the third wave of immigrants arrives from Greece. Her priests continue to come to America from Greece. They enroll in the Holy Cross Seminary in Boston to further their education. There, the musical influence is mostly leaning towards Sakellarides as the basis of chant. In its monophonic form, Sakellarides' music was the vehicle of ecclesiastic chant for budding cantors in the churches, transmitted from priest to the person interested to serve at the Analogion. In the US, 3 teachers largely influence and inspire and indirectly budding cantors between 1950 to 1980. Christos Vrionides, who served as teacher of ecclesiastic music at the Holy Cross Seminary in Boston, Fotios